Hi guys, well, welcome back. It's Showbiz Jamie's, weekly podcast here, and I'm delighted to say I am joined by a Neighbours legend now. You really are a legend on the show.
Oh, I love it when people say legend. It either means you're really good or you're really old.
Let's go with really good.
Okay, let's go with really good.
It is the really good Colette Mann, who of course plays Sheila Canning on Neighbours and has done now for how long?
5.5 years, but who's counting?
Well, me actually, because
Yes.
my Sky Plus is full. All the episodes, I pretty much keep so many of them as well.
Do you?
I went back and re-watched Scott and Charlene's wedding again recently.
Oh my Lord, you need psychiatric help.
I possibly do. And don't you say a word, thank you very much. Obviously, joining such an institution, that must have been a big move for you to say, well, you know what, yes, I'm ready for this.
Well, it was. Of course, I was actually in the show 15 years ago, just filling in for 6 weeks for a character called
Cheryl Stark.
Cheryl Stark, thank you for that. I remembered the actress, Caroline Gilmer, who's actually a very good friend of mine. And so I felt like that had been it. I'd done Neighbours, because nearly every actor in Australia has been through it at some stage, and I thought, well, that was my chance. And but then I was really lucky at the end of 2011. They had been looking for about 12 months for this character, Sheila Canning, but they were looking, thankfully, in an age group older than me, and then they decided to bring it back down to around my age, which is 35,
yeah.
And so they decided to re-audition for it, and so I was put up for it and had 2 screen tests, the second one with Chris Milligan, and then they offered me the role, but it was only supposed to be for 6 weeks. So here I am, 5.5 years later.
And you've outlasted Chris.
I have indeed. He's left, Naomi's left, and I'm still there, yes. But it's great. It's great. Look, it's a great learning curve for young people, and it's great for somebody at the point of my career that I was, which I was at the end of a long marriage and needed something sort of to throw myself into, and this was it, and it's been fantastic. I love it.
Obviously, there's a lot of characters that you've sort of seen go. Is there anyone that you do really miss?
Oh, I miss Chris Milligan, who played Kyle, who was the reason that I came into the show to play his grandmother. And, of course, then we were lucky enough to get the wonderful Morgana O'Reilly, who played Naomi, and she was only there for 18 months, and I'm still very close to her too. She's in a lot of theatre in New Zealand, in her homeland, and I go over to see her in New Zealand at least twice a year. But, you know, you've got it... When you get to my age, you know, which is I'm almost 36, you have to actually move with the change and can't be saying, I never say, and the kids at work say all the time, you never say back in the old days or back when I did it. I'm always trying to change and keep moving ahead, because I think it's the only way to survive in this industry, really. And
you have got a lot of amazing kids,
yeah.
You know, younger actors coming through. The one that everybody seems to pick out whenever I do an interview
Yes.
Over Neighbours is with Lily.
Yes, well, and so they should, because she's brilliant. And she came into the show just over 18 months ago, and she's extraordinary, because she came in, and I'll tell you a story which she'll hate me telling, but she was part of 5 girls that screen tested, and I didn't like any of them. They all screen tested with me, and I didn't like any of them, and I liked her the least. And after about 2 weeks, Jason called me into his office and he said, "We're going with Lily." And my face dropped, and he said, "Will you be all right with that?" And I said, "I'll have to be. It's my job," which it is. And I said, "But are you sure?" And he said, "Yes, there's something about her I really like." Well, he has now a thing on his wall that says, "Colette said she was wrong, I was right." He's got that up on his wall, because I went back after the first 3 days of working with her and said, "I was wrong, you were right." And I don't do that very often. But she didn't have any experience, and she was, now I realise she was unbelievably nervous in the screen test, which I didn't actually read off her at the time. I read it off as sort of slightly detached. And but she has learnt so much in 18 months, and she's like a little sponge. She just absorbs stuff all the time, and she watches Damien and I, who plays Gary, her father, and she'll say, "Why did you do that?" or "Why did you ask me to do this?" Like originally I used to have to help her with positioning and stuff, but I've never had to help her with her acting at all, and she's just grown and grown and grown, and she's going to be a big star.
I think you're right. I can see Hollywood.
Yes, yes.
And she's still so young. I mean, she's
17. Yeah, exactly. We're helping her buy a car at the moment. That's where we're at. Yes.
Now, are you keeping her feet on the ground? Are you going sort of Fiat?
Well,
you're not letting her go Porsche, are you?
No. It was really interesting because Damien was involved, and also Travis Burns, who plays Tyler, he was involved.
Well, he's a mechanic, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And we were all involved looking at cars and everything. And I was thinking, I don't know what she wants, but she just wants some little car like a Ford Focus or something like that. I don't know if you have those over here, but it's a little like 3-cylinder car, really. And she's not interested. She keeps my feet on the ground. She is so grown up in her head for a child that's 17, really, because she really is still only a child, but she's incredibly grown up. And I said, "Don't you want something, fast?" And she went, "No, I don't drive like you," she said to me. And I went, "Oh, okay." So hopefully she'll have a car by the time I get back, because Damien's doing a bit of kicking tyres and asking questions and stuff like that. Yeah.
So she's going to be your lift into work from now on.
Yeah,
this is why
possibly.
you're getting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Purely selfish reasons, of course.
Indeed. Well, that'll stop me getting speeding tickets anyway.
Oh, not you as well.
Yes.
Yeah. We probably shouldn't talk about that. But let's talk about some of the established characters that are still around as well, because we've got Alan Fletcher, who's
Jackie.
there, and Jackie. Is there sort of like a tight-knit group between the older ones? Do you tend to socialise a lot?
No, we don't actually. I mean, we're all, of course, really good friends in the green room. And Jackie and I probably would see each other maybe once during each holiday break. But no, it's funny because we sit in our family groups in the green room, because we've got desks and stuff, and they sit us in our family groups. And so the Cannings are in one corner and the Kennedys are in another corner. And so we sit with Damien and Lily and I. We all sit over this side, and then next to us is Jodie Gordon and the Tanakas. And so you tend to sort of not socialise, but you tend to spend time with the people that are near you or that you have scenes with, really. Damien, Lily and I socialise a bit together. We go and see theatre together, or we go out and have a meal together or something like that. But we don't socialise, and the young ones all socialise constantly with each other. Like Olympia and Mavourney and all of those kids, and Matt, and they all are often out together. But because we all work so hard, not many of us go out really on school nights. Because if you've got to be at work by 6 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to be out. I've got to be in bed by 9. Because I'm 37 almost.
Well, yes. I do a radio show, and it's a breakfast show. I've got to be up by 6 o'clock in the morning. You don't want to be doing that.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
You obviously sort of came in and took over the mantle, really, of the bar manager of the Waterhole.
Yes. Executive bar manager.
Yeah, of course, executive bar manager of the Waterhole. Were you pleased when they renamed it the Waterhole?
Yes, I was, because when I first came in, I came in just as a grandmother who was from Frankston and had come to look after Kyle. God knows why, he was like 26, but anyway, I did. And it was funny because I didn't have a job or anything, and then suddenly they said, "Oh, we're going to give you a job in the bar," which was called Charlie's at the time. And so I became a waitress, which I was happy because I got to wear black. Then within very short time, they made me the manager of Charlie's, and then they wanted to redo the set and everything, and then they decided to call it the Waterhole because it was based on some idea, I think, of the character played by Alan Hopgood, who played old Mr. Lassiter.
Okay.
And so, yes, and then I became the executive bar manager, or that's what Sheila calls herself, and I didn't have to wear black anymore, so I went back into coloured frocks, and it's great because she's developed into sort of one of the business women of the area. So I like her because she's not like my mother, although I've based a lot of her on my mother, but my mother basically gave up work when she was married and never worked again, whereas this is a woman who's, independent and owns a home now, apparently, and has just had it redecorated, and I don't know where she gets the money from. But anyway, but she is...
Those vodkas cost an awful lot.
Yeah, but she is a woman with a career, and I think that's great at my age.
I like her because she goes up against Mr. Moneybags.
Yes, or Mr. Not So Many Moneybags, as he's been for a while, but now he's got his money back. I had to change it. And they said, "I'll just go back to calling him Moneybags," and I said, "Can I call him Mr. New Moneybags?" So now he's Mr. New Moneybags. So yeah.
He's one of my all-time favorites.
He's a legend.
Love Stephen Dennis. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm somebody that's sort of watched the show from the very, very beginning, and in that very first episode was a character called Clive Gibbons, who was a doctor who has made a return, and you're getting to work with him quite closely.
Very closely, and I'm pretty excited about it. Yes, they brought him back to do, he's now what we call a semi-regular, and he comes in for maybe a week every 3 or 4 weeks or something, and they originally said to me, "We're bringing him back for you," and I was very excited because I knew Jeff Payne. We'd worked together in a theatre show together, and I loved him a lot, and I know his family and his wife and all of that, and I thought, oh, this will be good. And then he came back for like 2 stints, and there was no sign of me in any of his scenes. I kept looking, so I marched up the front and said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Oh, we're just moving things around, but, it'll eventually happen." But now it has happened. And we've had 3 or 4 scenes together. And I think on air either this week or next week, we go on a date. I know. It's pretty exciting.
Will he wear the gorilla suit? That's what I want to know. Have you ever seen the episode where he wears the gorilla suit?
No, I haven't. You see, because I didn't watch Neighbours. I watched it a little bit just before I had to take over from Caroline, and then I would sort of come and go. It was because it's on at a weird time, 6:30, and I was raising children and feeding them and stuff like that, so I didn't really watch much of it. But anyway, so yes, we've been on a date, but unfortunately something happens in Sheila's life that involves her with one of the other families in the street, and it's a bit of an upset, and she basically has to say, "Clive, I have to go away and sort myself out."
Oh no.
And so it doesn't last very long, but I'm hoping they're going to bring him back.
So that's how you ended up in England.
Yes, exactly. No, I'm hoping they're going to bring him back. I keep telling the producer, and I want everybody to write to the producer, Jason Herberson is his name, write to him and say they must bring Clive back and put him with Sheila, because I adore working with him. He's one of the funniest men I've ever met, and he's a beautiful actor, and it was so sad when I had to sit into Harold's and tell him that I couldn't see him anymore.
Oh, don't, you're getting me.
Yeah.
I want you to be together.
Yeah, I want us to be
Start
together.
Start the petition now, guys.
Well, Jason has promised that he is coming back, so I hope that he's coming back for Sheila.
And big storyline saying coming up for Sheila. Yes,
there's a bit of a nasty one in the offing, which will happen over the next 5 or 6 weeks, where her mouth gets her into trouble. I know, that's hard to believe.
Who would have thought it?
Hard to believe. She says stuff and causes all sorts of problems.
Wow.
And then, of course, there's all the family drama too, because there's the fallout from Finn Kelly, that creepy guy.
Yep.
With Xanthi, and also sort of a culmination of the whole Therese and Gary thing, and Therese's breast cancer and the wedding and all of that stuff.
I love Gary, but I kind of want Therese to be with Paul.
Oh, do you? It's interesting because there's on social media there's quite the argument about it going on at the moment. Yeah, I think. Because the thing is about soap, they never actually put you together ever, or they put you together and then there's trouble, And so I think there's something happening in that triangle, but I actually really don't know what it is, because I haven't read that far, but there's a few bumps.
I'll turn the camera off in a minute. You can actually tell me. Listen, you mentioned earlier on about the fact that you go off and see some musical theatre with your castmates.
Well, not just musical theatre, real plays.
Well, we like to say musical theatre is real as well.
Yes,
but,
I know. Well, I've done heaps. Let me tell you, I've done more musical theatre in Australia than I've done real theatre. But I do enjoy both very much.
Well, we are going to put you to the test to test your knowledge on your theatre.
Okay.
Tune back in to us. We will have more from Colette Mann in the next episode. Take care for now.